this
pick me up.
for a sec? Can you hold this
I just continued to grow from there.
Can you hold this for a sec?
I recently did quite well in the IPL, 3 qualifiers. I did well against 18 and Sake. I 2-0'd him, I 2-0'd Shed, I 2-0'd TSL Trickster, I 2-0'd MKP, and then I lost in the semifinals to Straylock 2-1. After that, I went to MLG Anaheim, I'd want to say. I lost to Trimaster and White Rock 2-1. Then Orlando, I lost to Stefano 2-1 and Jesus Ops 2-1. So I have a really bad history of just almost making it, because almost all of those games were like 1 round away from like championship bracket or play kind of thing. So it's kind of Chance's story.
That sounds like an amazing run actually, because getting 2-1 by Stefano is that's amazing actually, because
I did.
yeah, that's amazing. So what do you attribute your success to? You've never played RTS before StarCraft 2. How did you get into the game?
Work ethic and great friends. A lot of people, like, I asked for help from a lot of people. Connections, Sadis X actually, he let me practice with him and then a lot of his practice partners and just old teammates who played in Brood War who were like either A or B, things like that. And I just continued to grow from there. I put in like 10 to 12 hours a day for a long time, so that helped. Mechanics as Zerg is like probably the biggest thing next to experience, so yeah, 10 hours a day probably is a tribute to my success.
I'm glad that MLGs have recognized that success. Wow. So what are you looking forward to at MLG? What do you think is going to happen in 2012? What's your plans for the future?
Well, it depends on what MLG introduces. Like, I hear they're gonna have like a pretty big announcement tomorrow about the new format, and we'll see if that's more team-based. I'm not really sure. I've heard a little bit of details, but I don't know. So I can't really say until tomorrow. Yes. In terms of my personal goals for MLGs, well, obviously I want to win, but I need a team house, I guess, to start practicing a little bit more competitively, or at least playing on the Korean ladder, because I haven't really done that. So my training is basically ladder and a little bit of custom games now, so I got to get back into it.
It does seem like with every event you're getting closer to it, so I hope that in 2012
Yeah. Oh, yeah, I lost to Slayer's Puzzle today, 2-0. They were really close games. He called me a really good player, so that was really good. I was quite proud of that.
Definitely pretty proud of that. Alright, so how about thoughts about hard and slow? What are you going to continue playing Zerg? What do you think of the, what is it called?
Probably going to continue playing Zerg or just quit. I mean, it's a little hard to switch races at this point. In terms of the units, you can't really discuss them yet because they're just going to get either nerfed or removed. They all sound